Okay, so I have my presentation. These are the alkali metals by me. So we have the periodic table of elements, and in the periodic table of elements we have the alkali metals, which are right here. They're on the further left side of the periodic table, and they're red on this picture. They can be any color, but they are part of the S block. And they all have the same number of valence electrons, which is 1, because that's where they are. There's this one right here that tells you that it's one valence electron. Yeah. So all of them are metal. None of them are metalloids or non-metals. And like I said, they all have 1 valence electron, and they're all lustrous, so they're shiny. The differences are every single one has a different atomic number, because atomic number is how you know, like, okay, so atomic number is the number of protons in an atom, and the protons affect what element it is, so each one has to have a different, or it's just going to be 6 of lithium or something. Yeah. They also have different colored flames, so sodium is orange, lithium is red, potassium is purple, and rubidium is red, and cesium is blue or violet. Yeah. So lithium is used to treat bipolar disorder, because it affects the stability of the emotions in the brain, and I'll explain more on that later. Potassium is used to make glass, because the air makes it thicker and it makes it more dense. And then cesium is used in nuclear reactors and is most common a product of the nuclear reactors, but yeah, it's got a 6.1% yield, which is apparently relatively high, so they like using it, the people with the nuclear reactors. So the problem that lithium solves is bipolar disorder, mostly with mania and severe depression. And so it'll target the central nervous system and increase the amount of chemicals. But it also turns CRMP2 on, so that the brain balances the mood. And some researchers believe that lithium, using its proteins, can strengthen connections in your brain between nerves, so the nerve connections, in order to balance your mood. And there's a protein in someone's brain who has bipolar disorder that's missing, which is the CRMP2. And because it doesn't have that, the brain can't successfully balance their brain, and so lithium has a protein that that makes it active, because the protein wasn't active before, the CRMP2. So it makes it normal, thus helping the person to have normal mood swings. Positive consequences and negative consequences. Actually, this is just positive, sorry. So lithium, so the protein's turned on, which helps the person balance their brain, and so, other consequences, they're able to control their mood, and so they're not severely depressed or extremely happy, which comes with mania. Negative consequences are that 75% of people who take lithium have side effects, and these are just a few examples: the nausea, muscle weakness, impaired memory, weight gain, headache, diarrhea, etc. There are a lot more. There are like 20. Yeah. And then lithium only works in 1/3 of people, so you take 3 people and 1 person and give them all lithium, because they'll have bipolar disorder, and only one of them, it'll only be successful for one of them. So it doesn't have a very high success rate. I mean, kind of high, but it takes a lot of trial and error to figure out if it works, with different amounts you take, and so it takes a long time to figure out if it even works, and then you've wasted your time. So another thing you can use to treat bipolar disorder is electroshock therapy, and that's when an electric current current is shot through a patient's brain to give them a mini seizure. This tends to relieve symptoms of mania or severe depression, but it's only temporary. This process isn't painful. And you have like short-term memory loss for a little while surrounding the event, and they normally don't remember that, and sometimes remember it like a few weeks or like a month later, but yeah, short-term memory loss. Like Dory, yeah, okay. And then, yes, electroshock therapy works 75% of the time. So if you take 4 people and shock their brains, then it works for 3 of them. Unlike lithium, which only works for 1 out of 3 people. So it's got a better success rate. And then electroshock therapy has significantly fewer symptoms. It only has like confusion and nausea, headache, jaw pain, and muscle aches. That's like it. And you know, the memory loss surrounding the thing. But like, that's significantly lower than lithium. And lithium is long-term. It is not successful, like I said. And it's also not as painless, just like, because the symptoms for lithium are worse. And then, yeah, lithium has lots of uncomfortable side effects that 75% of people would have. Not a party. Okay, so I think that electroshock therapy is better than lithium, so we gave it a trophy. And it looks uncomfortable, but I mean it probably is, but so is taking the pill. Anyway, I think electroshock therapy is better than lithium because electroshock therapy will have fewer side effects, and they're not as bad. And then it's harder to overdose with electroshock therapy because you do it like 2 or 3 times a week, and that's what you do, and you do it less over time. And then with lithium, you have to take it like 3 times a day, and it never ends. And sometimes you have to do it like, they'll slowly increase the amount you have to take. Also, yeah, don't want to overdose on lithium because you could die. You have to make sure that it's like stable amount, because if you go too low or too high, then it'll mess you up, and you don't want that. Okay, and then although lithium is more long-term because it starts the protein up again in your head and maintains it, and electroshock therapy is going to be more temporary because it just shocks your brain and then does good things for like a few days or a week or something. Electroshock therapy is a lot more likely to work and won't waste your time, because with lithium you could do all of it and then have to like stop doing it and try something else like electroshock therapy or like anti-depression methods. Anyway, other things. Yeah. So these are everything I use. There's probably more, but I think that's it. And then pictures. Those like 4 pictures. Yeah. Awesome.